Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is June the 2nd, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hopefully the day treated you well. Hopefully it treated you right. As for me, it's been a good day. I was tired yet again. I got a little bit more sleep, but really I want to say maybe about an hour and some change more. I was still behind, at least in terms of the amount of sleep that I needed. But we got up, we got ourselves together, we got to work okay. Overall, it really looked like there wasn't going to be enough work for me, and there really wasn't. I did wind up having to do about an hour or so of put backs upstairs, which I love so much. But really, just for some reason, like I felt a shade or two less tired than yesterday. But for some reason, I was just so ready to tap out. I was literally telling myself, because I wound up coming back down to the crusher and seeing like one cardboard buggy, and I was like, I'm gonna do this buggy and I'm gonna try to get out of here on a Tuesday, and I don't even care if I can't like get paid time off. I gotta go. I'm so tired. I need to sleep. So luckily there was enough cardboard that kind of kept coming in at that point to keep me where I wanted to be for the rest of the day, and I got out of there. I did come straight home for two reasons. One, I knew I was going to take a nap. I was that tired, and at least I was going to try. And then two, I did get the car part that I needed, the wheel liner for my fender liner, whatever you want to call it, whatever. So that came in the mail. We're gonna see about trying to get that handled at some point this week. I'm gonna try to handle that. But needless to say, today was not that day, and I did lay down, and I did wind up being able to get some sleep. So I was so happy about that. I almost woke up surprised. I was like, I slept, right? That wasn't like a long blink, right? And I was like, yes, you slept. So, we get up, we get ourselves together, and I head to the gym. I don't know. It didn't feel like the best gym session. It was yet again another busy day. And I just kind of felt like I was doing a bit of fiddle faddle, a little of this, a little of that. Wouldn't say the pump was as good as, sessions prior, but, we got in there. We got it done. After that, we went to the grocery store and got all the groceries I needed for the week, which was nice. I'm glad it wasn't like packed, or I'm glad I was able to get everything, so that was good. Then I got home, had my stretch, had my snack, which I will say I switched it up just for the day. Excuse me. I got some yogurt. I don't know. I've been trying to maybe switch it up, maybe try to see if I can get more protein in the mix, and just generally, just try to incorporate yogurt, because I've heard it's just good for you, and I do like yogurt. So we got some yogurts. I didn't have to. I just chose to swap that out for like my main fruit. Not that I'm planning on doing that permanently, just for today. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. See how we like that in the snack rotation. But yeah, did some research, so we are queued up and ready to go for today's episode. Yeah, ready to yap about some news. So let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into it. Okay. From ABC News. Officer fired after video shows him repeatedly punching woman during arrest. A North Carolina police officer has been fired after viral doorbell camera video shows him repeatedly punching a woman during an arrest, sparking protests on Friday. The firing came after the Shelby Police Department completed an administrative investigation into the incident. Shelby Police Chief Brad Frazier announced Saturday. The officer, whose name officials have not released, had previously been placed on administrative suspension. The findings of the investigation have also been turned over to North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation for an independent review of any criminal violations, the chief said. While this indictment does not reflect the values of Shelby Police Department, it does reinforce the importance of holding ourselves to the highest standards of conduct, Frazier said. Which I would say is fucking bullshit. Like, yes, it does. Like, you train this motherfucker, you put him on the fucking street. At the end of the day, this man did not handle himself accordingly. And he beat a person. So, no, you gotta take the fucking good that you do, and you gotta take the bad that you fucking do as a whole fucking department. Isn't that what backing the fucking blue is? I don't know, man. But let's continue. Frazier called the actions of the officer disturbing and inappropriate. See, if you just went right to this, I would have respected it more. I want to be clear that the inappropriate use of force is unacceptable and will not be tolerated by me, the Shelby Police Department, or the city of Shelby, Frazier added. Officers were conducting a criminal investigation on Friday when they encountered a suspicious female in the area, Frazier said. The doorbell video appears to show an officer repeatedly punching a woman, identified as 34 Cherie Moore, during an arrest before another officer appears to intervene. It is unclear what happened before the video. Moore's family is calling for the officer to be charged. We just want the right thing done. And I think the first right thing is that he be charged, Moore's uncle, Michael Moore, told ABC News. Once he's charged, then we can move forward. Let's see here. I'm going to scroll ahead here, though. But it is like a sad thing with the dad saying, like, hey, like she was like calling my name in that moment. I could see that or hear that. And, he wasn't able to, like, go to her, be able to protect her. And that's so sad. That's definitely something I've heard before in the past when we're talking about, any, situation with police brutality is that, someone is being hurt and fucked up to that kind of point. And you just hear those moments, and it's just a very haunting thing. But I am at least glad in this situation that, Cherie Moore was at least, alive after this. So that's good. Cherie Moore was charged with misdemeanor, breaking and entering, resisting arrest, and assault on a government official. Those charges were dropped. So, at the end of the day, I do not know the details of the situation. I'm sure motherfuckers do love to, backseat this shit and go back and say, well, actually, she was a perpetrator, da-da-da-da. This goes to show that the situation was so bad on paper, it just doesn't matter. And then the cops and the law enforcement were like, yeah, it's not actually worth it. And they, any kind of legal team were like, yeah, we're not prosecuting on this shit. It's not worth it. It's just too hot. So, yeah, I mean, to me, that speaks enough to it. I mean, I'm not trying to say, what happened. I don't fucking know. I don't have the details. All we have is what's in front of us, which was the situation of a police officer beating a person up. Let's see here. Shelby City Manager Justin Merritt thanked the chief and officers for investigating the incident. And we'll leave it there. Okay. Now, I wanted to move on to the story. This captivated me last night. I wouldn't say this was a thing that kept me up or anything like that. I just wound up not really wanting to go to bed for some dumb reason. These things happen. It's a little too late. That's not here nor there. Sorry. This story, it captivated me. I kept hearing it, kind of throughout the day, listening to the live streams I was listening to. And then finally someone was like, okay, I want to react to it. So they watched the whole thing. I couldn't. It was one of those things where it kind of was taking me out how this creator chose to conduct themselves in this endeavor that they set out to do, however noble. And we're going to get into it. But yeah, they were essentially just saying, have you heard of the Lego drama? And it's like, what? What Lego drama? What's going on? Are we talking about the new Lego Batman game or something? Which I gotta say, I haven't played, but I have watched some. If you're a Lego enjoyer, this is a random aside, and I am not fucking sponsored. That game is cute, though. The Lego games are kind of fucking ripper. They're kind of nice. I don't know. Just to randomly plug that. The Lego Batman, if you like Legos, if you like Batman, if you like video games, You should play it. Anyway, whatever. Back to this drama at hand. I don't know. I don't really want to freehand this shit because I don't have all the details myself. I literally was just dropped into this shit, and like the YouTuber in and of himself does like I think 3 or 4 episodes of this shit. Some of it's on his Patreon. Now shit is hitting legal levels, so now he's been arrested, and then he's now in Mexico. It's a whole fucking thing. We're gonna get into it, but yeah, this all starts with some fucking Legos and a fucked up deal. And I guess I gotta put some allegedlys on here. You know, another reason I didn't want to cover this shit is because it runs really deep. This feels like as big as like one of the Mr. Beast controversy stories we've covered like in years prior. Shit like that. It feels like that, but we don't have like big names. I mean, I didn't know who Reckless Ben was until fucking yesterday. But here we are. So let's dive in. I'm getting this from Yahoo Entertainment, but also I guess where it's actually from is In Touch. YouTuber Reckless Ben lands in jail over 200,000 Lego drama, and as bricks and minifigs and cops deny any wrongdoing. An absolute nightmare of a toy box battle has officially spilled over into the criminal justice system, leaving an internet investigator behind bars over a missing fortune of plastic building blocks. Ben Schneider, globally recognized by his millions of streaming fans as Reckless Ben, is currently staring down multiple misdemeanor charges in Utah after his online crusade over a $200,000 Star Wars Lego collection went completely off the rails. The viral debacle, which has garnered over 2 million clicks on YouTube, has escalated into a massive legal war involving a major retail chain, an elderly collector, and local law enforcement. The dramatic saga began in 2023 when Brian Manzel and his 83-year-old father, Eric, decided to place their massive collection featuring 780 unopened sets and 1,200 rare figures, including a Cloud City set valued at over $10,000 on consignment at Bricks and Minifigs franchise in Salem, Oregon. The family viewed the sets as a long-term investment for their children's college tuition. However, the situation turned chaotic when corporate headquarters repossessed the struggling location from the original owners, Crystal Law and Ben Gorman, over a $175,000 debt. The corporate office changed the building locks and installed new managers, Joshua Johnson and Brandon Best, who flatly refused to give the remaining toys back to the family. For their part, the corporate executives at Bricks and Minifigs strongly deny any wrongdoing or theft. The Utah-based brand, led by Chief Executive Officer Amon McNeff, maintains that the consignment deal completely violated company guidelines and was never authorized by management. In court filings, corporate lawyers even claimed that Law might have secretly sold off the items herself without reimbursing the family, while the brand admitted to tracking down a tiny portion of bricks worth $2,000 and $5,000 that could possibly be related to the inventory. The Manzel family refused to take them back. Instead, the company sued the online sleuth, blasting his videos as a coordinated viral extortion campaign. To fight back, Schneider used wild internet tactics, dropping confrontational videos from the store and even plastering a fake closure banner on the storefront, accusing the new owners of stealing a family's life savings. He eventually traveled directly to the private Utah residences of Johnson and Best to serve legal papers, leading to multiple hostile standoffs with local authorities. The creator alleged a heavy pattern of police corruption, claiming officers pulled his car over for a bogus 2-hour drug search and targeted him because the business owners are members of the same church. Now, like I said, this shit runs fucking deep. It is one of those things where I was like, police corruption, I mean, I'm all ears for it. I didn't know. At the top of it, I was like, I don't really know. But when he goes through all of this, and then also, too, I was willing to entertain, like, on paper, what the other side was trying to say, like, this bigger corporation or whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I get that, like, there's 2 sides to every story, and, like, this big bank at the end of the day is what you're going to have to overcome. But throughout this whole entire thing, there are moments where like throughout the videos, they drop like, hey, we actually have camera footage. We actually have audio recordings of these people saying like, hey, we don't care about this. We are doing like more or less a hostile takeover. We're going to work all this shit out. Don't worry about it. To like the current owners the older owners, who set up this whole deal for the $200,000 collection. So they even say like, hey, this feels really rushed. I don't know. Like, we're trying to do this inventory. Like, no, we got it. Just get out of here. They change the locks. Everything's done. And it's like, okay, are we getting our money? Because even they have their own side of it too, the former owners, where they're like, no, we got screwed over. We wind up not even being able to leave the country the way we wanted to, and we're stuck. And now we're going through legal proceedings as well. They also have a whole ass fucking GoFundMe. So this shit runs fucking deep. And then in terms of the police shit, I'm like, well, this Reckless Ben guy, like I said, this kind of goes to the style of how he's making his videos, how he's going about this whole project. There's definitely moments where he's trying to act like, hey, I'm doing everything on the up. Everything is super legal. And it's like, actually, bud, I don't think what you're doing is legal. Like, he's finding these roundabout ways to get signatures and then saying, hey, you signed this contract that says you can't sue me and I'm allowed to be here. And you can't come at me for trespassing. Brother, you're being very magical about how the law works here. And this is yet again another situation where we're talking about a big bank versus a little bank here. So, like, every little thing you're doing wrong is going to be magnified. It's going to be exploited and used against you. And I know you're trying to get this family's money back, but, like, you might be losing the plot here. But I don't know. There was something about as they continue to go on, you keep hearing the people on the other side of this, and they're calling him and having these conversations with him, and they're being so hostile and they're being so crazy. Shit escalates, and it does go off the rails. You can say for both sides or whatever. But at the end of the day, the way the cops handle themselves, it's like, I get it. But then there's also times where it's like, no, this does feel fishy. This does feel a little off. Even how like the legal process works, and then you all see you're like, oh, they're all Mormon, and that's not me pointing fingers saying specifically I'm Mormon, but it's like, okay, so this is a group of people. Maybe we have like a bit of a smaller town, big money influence situation. I don't fucking know. I'm speculating a bit here, but it becomes a little bit more possible to entertain that like something really fucking stinks here, and it is really fucked up that a whole family's like life savings is just like, okay, just fully scrapped. And, seeing them trying to have to go through these whole links just to even get attention about it, and then they get snuffed, and then them trying to stop the Snyder guy to, like I said, the point where he's getting arrested and then fleeing to Mexico and all this shit. It's fucking crazy. So we're going to keep reading, but I just wanted to just say, hey, I found this story to be so fucking fascinating that I'm like, all right, let's just dive in. The extreme escalation ultimately landed Snyder in a Utah county jail, where he was hit with charges of stalking, criminal trespass, targeted residential picketing, and disorderly conduct. The American Fork Police Department quickly issued a public statement denying any bias, clarifying that their officers are strictly investigating potential illegal acts and are not currently seeking the creator, as there are no active warrants. While Snyder claimed in a recent update that he has officially fled to Mexico, a GoFundMe launch to cover the family's legal expenses has already cleared $10,000. The chaotic brick building this chaotic brick building thriller remains completely unresolved as both camps prepare for a courtroom showdown. So yeah, and I feel like that's probably only just a tip of the iceberg. If you are very interested into this, obviously you can just like Google it. What was it? Lego drama. I feel like that'll set you on the path. Or look up Reckless Ben or whatever. I would love to hear other people's 2 cents. If you know more about the story or whatever, by all means, hit me up, hit the line. Just because, like I said, it's also crazy too that this is something that started with something as cute and innocent as a Lego set, or Lego sets, obviously. But I mean, also seeing too the way that this was kind of like laid out. It's like he had so much of this collection, or like it ran so deep, his collection, that like I think it was like more or less like filling like the warehouse or filling up the store. Like it was taking up a whole fucking thing. But that being said, I really am playing down the wild ride that is this whole situation. So, I guess I just kind of wanted to yap about it and just leave my 2 cents there. But yeah, we can go ahead and move on. Our next story is from CBS News. FBI offers $10,000 reward as manhunt continues for escaped federal inmate in Georgia. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is offering a reward of up to $10,000 in the hopes that it will help authorities catch an inmate who has been on the run for days after escaping from a federal prison camp in Georgia. Authorities are searching for 34-year-old Arthur Cofield, an Atlanta man who was serving an 11-year and 3-month prison sentence for leading an $11 million fraud scheme while in custody. The FBI says Cofield was discovered missing from the minimum security camp next to the Federal Corrections Institution in Jessup on the afternoon of May 26. The escapee is considered armed and dangerous and has ties to the metro Atlanta area. Cofield is described as approximately 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighing approximately 210 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. Investigators have not shared a description of what he may be wearing. They have more yada on the tip line. By all means, you can look it up and do that if you feel so compelled. Cofield was serving a prison sentence for armed robbery in Butts County and faced an attempted murder charge in Fulton County when federal prosecutors announced new charges in 2020. Authorities say Cofield used a contraband cell phone to steal the identity and get into the online account of a Charles Schwab client who was identified only as SK. He then allegedly impersonated SK to contact Charles Schwab to open a checking account in their name, getting a co-conspirator to send him a picture of SK's driver's license and a Los Angeles utility bill as verification. Now, with access to the accounts, prosecutors say Cofield and a female co-conspirator reached out to an Idaho precious metal dealer, eventually leading Charles Schwab to wire $11 million from SK's funds to the dealer to buy 6,106 American Gold Eagle coins. He then allegedly hired a private security company to transport the coins from Idaho to Atlanta, where investigators say a co-conspirator used them to arrange the purchase of a massive home near West Paces Ferry. Cofield was found guilty to identity theft and conspiracy to commit mail fraud, wire fraud, and bank fraud, and sentenced in 2024. As part of the sentencing, he was ordered to pay restitution to the victim. What a crazy scheme. What a crazy fucking lick. That would be a wild thing that I want to cover and talk about even if he was out of jail. The fact that he did that from a jail cell, and obviously, coordinated with others, but still, what a caper, what a fucking plot. Not to mention, he's on the loose. That's why I'm covering this. This man is having a man, he's on the loose. They're having a manhunt over him. So, I guess hopefully we have an update sooner than later that, he is apprehended and off the streets. But, I gotta say, that's an impressive caper, Granted, he did get caught while he was caught, but that's also part of the reason why it's all the more impressive, no? So, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like rating that. I feel like that's a valid, actual scheme caper, but I couldn't help but cover it because it was obviously in the story. So yeah, I'll keep you posted there. I'll give you some updates if we get any in the near future. But yes, we have one more story, and I'm going to call this good news. We got to go to the Pentagon, and we're covering a Hegseth L, a Trump L, and just a dub for people just trying to be people. And strangely enough, to serve their country. I know I might not sound like the most avid person for that. I know I'm not fucking doing long moments of silence on Memorial Day, but damn, you got to give credit for people who want to just serve their country. And it's a shame that in America, they're like, no, if you, we'll get into it. I don't feel like just queuing it up. Let's go ahead and take the last break and then we'll close it out. I'm gonna sound all preachy. Ooh. Ugh. Okay. Our last story comes from the Associated Press. Pentagon policy illegally banned transgender troops from military service appeals court panel rules. I read that so well. A Pentagon policy illegally banned transgender troops from military service. A divided panel of federal court judges ruled on Monday in another legal setback for President Donald Trump's sweeping agenda. The majority opinion by a 3-judge panel from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit held that the Trump administration's policy was designed to exclude people from the military based on their gender identity. The ban remains in effect. The U.S. Supreme Court allowed the Pentagon to start enforcing it last year as litigation continues to play out. The panel's new ruling would keep the military from kicking out current service members named in the lawsuit, but wouldn't allow new transgender recruits to join. The judges put their decision on hold, though, to let the administration seek further review. There's more yada here. I would say details. You could say they are important, but it is worth noting. Even Hegseth wound up saying, he's like, okay, we'll see you in SCOTUS. We'll see how SCOTUS rules on this, more or less. So yeah, essentially saying, yeah, like this is going to go all the way to the Supreme Court, and we'll see what they have to say about it. And really, this is only confined to the people who are filing the lawsuit. Granted, good that they're at least saying, hey, there was something fucked up about this. You shouldn't be kicked out because of your gender identity. In the day you want to serve your country, you should be allowed to do that. So yeah, there's that. That's it though. That's really all we have for today. That's going to be the episode. I know I'm ending on what I thought when I initially was like, okay, this is going to be a good note, but it just doesn't feel like a great note. I guess it's worth mentioning, since we were talking about Hex, I'm like, is it worth covering this? But just getting it out of the way. I had heard some statistic that essentially he is holding up Navy hires, promoting people because it's like either they are a person of color or a woman, and he's like, no, I don't want you to actually get the job. It's like, dude, it's just so fucking stupid. These are people who are totally qualified to do this, to do their job, to serve the country. And it's like, he's like, no, I don't want, I'm going to make this difficult for you. I want it to be merit based. It's like, no, you want them to be white, man. You want them to be white dudes with shitty buzz cuts or something. It's just so crazy. Between him and Donald Trump just vibrating together on these fucking issues, it's just so ridiculous. You just roll your eyes at it and move on if it was just something on Fox News, but it's just something that it affects people's lives. It affects our lives as Americans. It affects the world one way or another. I mean, I'm blowing it up a lot, just talking about bullshit shit at the Pentagon, but it's a frustrating thing. And that these things are going to have long-standing ramifications, just like his first administration run did, just like his first term did. And we'll be going to be living with this shit no matter what, no matter who comes in from the next, fucking election in the future. So yeah, shit sucks. So it goes. It's fucking Tuesday. I hope you had a good day, though. I know, like I said, I had a good one. After that nap, ooh, it was nice. So yeah, we're going to leave it there. Let's see. If you'd like to help out, support the effort I do with Patreon, patreon.com/AZanNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, azannews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Let's see. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is always caring. Let's see. 5 stars on Spotify. 5 stars on Spotify. Jesus Christ. 5 stars on Spotify. 5 stars on Apple Podcast. And excuse me. It's okay. You don't have to do any of that. You know what? Just crumple that, throw that in the recycling bin. Just thanks. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for just tuning in and chilling with me for the day, for the night, whatever you're listening to. I don't know. What is time? No. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.